The Money Pit of Oak Island. Someone, it is said, hid treasure on Oak Island hundreds of years ago. Since then, people's imaginations have run wild with theories. What if Shakespeare's original works were buried in Oak Island's money pit? It's the Holy Grail, right? How many tons of gold are we talking about? Pirate wealth, rumored to be buried in Oak Island's money pit, has attracted treasure hunters to the Nova Scotia island for over 2 centuries. So let's find out more with Country Facts. Rick and Marty Lagina, siblings, are the most recent and well-known people to take up the island's challenge, and their search has been chronicled in the nearly 9-season TV series, The Curse of Oak Island. So what is the Money Pit exactly? The Money Pit is, or was, a shaft that extended more than 100 feet deep and was situated on the eastern edge of Oak Island. According to the folklore of the island, it first came to the attention of a local teenager in the year 1795. This teenager noticed an indentation in the ground and, with the help of some friends, began to dig. What they uncovered was a man-made shaft that featured wooden platforms every 10 feet down to the level of depth that was 90 feet. In the opening episode of Season 1, titled What Lies Below, the Laginas refer to the narrative by stating that teenagers discovered evidence of the wealth 200 years ago. The problem is that the precise location of the shaft has been disguised as a result of a haphazard trip that took place in the 1960s. This expedition caused clay, seawater, sludge, and other debris to collapse many holes drilled around the original money pit. These days, the brothers Lagina dig in locations across the island that they hope are at least close to the initial pit. In addition to these locales, they also dig in other areas. And just like many treasure hunters who came before them, Rick and Marty have found that their efforts have been thwarted by apparent booby traps. These apparent booby traps take the form of tunnels dug into the ground at various depths to flood the shaft with water and prevent the seekers from digging any further. According to the Oak Island Encyclopedia, for instance, a 500-foot long tube from neighboring Smith's Cove ensures that the hold fills back up with water as soon as the water is pumped out of the hole. This is done so that the ship may continue to float. According to the Oak Island Compendium, an online research collection, a local legend states that the treasure won't be discovered until 7 people have lost their lives searching for it. But much like the other tales that are associated with the island, no written evidence can shed light on who originally placed the curse on the wealth in this manner, or even if there was ever a curse placed on the treasure at all. To this day, 6 individuals have lost their lives while searching for wealth. Even though this curse hangs over the Lagina brothers, it is abundantly evident that they are placing a high priority on their safety while they investigate. A little island shaped like a question mark is just off the rocky southeast coast of Nova Scotia. The form is fitting, as the little island of Oak Island is the site of a puzzling murder mystery that has baffled investigators for almost 2 centuries. People have been trying to discover what is at the bottom of a mystery shaft here since 1795, not long after pirates roamed the Atlantic coast and left sparkling rumors of hidden wealth in their wake. Treasure seekers dumped about $1.5 million into the money pit using picks and shovels, divining rods, and drilling equipment. No one has been able to reach the bottom of the hole despite more than 20 attempts. Every time a digging crew got close, torrents of water suddenly surged in, drowning their hopes. No one knows who dug the money pit or why, even though it is now known that the pit is guarded by a clever system of man-made flood tunnels that use the sea as a watchdog. According to one myth, Captain Kidd, who was executed for piracy in 1701, concealed his loot in the pit before his execution. Some hypotheses propose the loot of infamous buccaneers like Blackbeard and Henry Morgan, or the crown jewels of France that Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette were rumored to be carrying as they fled France during the French Revolution, or even Shakespeare's lost works. Regardless of what's down there, it's hard to think of another treasure that's been sought after quite like the one in the pit. A look inside Oak Island's money pit. Daniel McGinnis, a 16-year-old from Chester, Nova Scotia, paddled across to desolate Oak Island to go hunting one day 200 years ago. His attention was drawn to a peculiar depression on a knoll on one end of the island. An antique block and tackle dangled from a tree limb that had been sawn off above it. McGinnis's heart was racing because he had heard tales of buried wealth in the adjacent port of La Have, which had previously been a hideout for pirates preying on New England shipping. The following day, he returned with 2 other youngsters, Anthony Vaughn and John Smith, and they started excavating. At 3 meters, they find one platform of old oak planks, at 6 meters another, and 9 meters yet another. The pickaxe traces were still visible in the shaft's flinty clay walls. They looked for assistance as the workload increased. However, nobody else dared venture near Oak Island. The 2 fishermen disappeared there in 1720 while looking at mysterious lights, and their ghosts are claimed to haunt the area. For the time being, the boys gave up. In time, McGinnis and Smith made the island their permanent home. One wealthy Nova Scotian named Simon Lins was interested enough in their story to join their treasure firm in 1803. They found a stone carved with mysterious symbols alongside the oak planks. They also found charcoal, ship's putty, and layers of coconut fiber from the tropics. The diggers plowed 1.5 meters deeper with a crowbar at 28 meters and hit a rock. Lins was confident that it was a chest full of gold. But the following morning, he was taken aback by the sight of 18 feet of water in the hole. After weeks of trying to lower the water level with the bailing machine, it became clear that they were futile. According to Lynn's reasoning, this was because of a hidden spring of fresh water. The following year, his contracted miners excavated down 33 meters to one side of the money pit and started tunneling in its direction. Liters of water poured through while they were only centimeters away. The shaft swiftly reached the same depth as the money pit as they fought for survival. Lynn's, discouraged and exhausted, gave up. Tragically, McGinnis passed away. In any case, Vaughn and Smith never gave up hope. The Truro, Nova Scotia Syndicate tried again in 1849 with the same investment strategy as before. The effects were really visible. Then what's the big deal about this treasure anyway? Several historical figures and organizations have been linked to the island's fabled treasure, including the notorious 17th century Scottish pirate Captain Kidd, the great English playwright William Shakespeare, and the powerful and wealthy medieval order of holy warriors known as the Knights Templar, who were also thought to have hidden the Holy Grail. The treasure's origins are unknown, as is the narrative of how it was brought to the island and hidden there. The history of treasure seeking on the island has been passed down the generations, mostly through hearsay and speculation, making it difficult to differentiate fact from fiction. Treasure hunters may also have propagated false information to throw off other treasure hunters. Is there finally an explanation for what happened at Oak Island? No, not at all. But for the benefit of the History Channel viewers, one crew has spent years dedicated to solving the Oak Island mystery. There have been 8 installments of The Curse of Oak Island. Marty and Rick Lagina, 2 brothers, set out to unravel the mystery of Oak Island. The brothers began their exploration of the island and its history in 2014, and they looked into the money pit extensively. So, after 8 seasons, have the brothers finally found something? Some of the most interesting artifacts discovered are a garnet brooch from 500 years ago and a lead cross from between 1200 and 1600 AD. Season 6 brought about the discovery of yet another gold-plated brooch and copper. The money pit hasn't yielded any major treasures despite their years of hunting. The enigma of Oak Island has not been resolved. However, there are other hypotheses floating about as to what could be hidden there. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Feel free to let us know what you thought about it, and if you like this video, then please leave us a like and subscribe to our channel for more amazing content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.